Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Survivor Series 2024 predictions video. We're going to go through every single match that's currently announced for this show. I'm going to tell you who I think is going to win that match, why I think they're going to win that match, and I'm going to tell you where I think things can go after this show. Currently, there are 5 matches announced as of the making of this video, and thank God, because for a second there, I thought that we were genuinely going to go into Survivor Series with only 3 matches. At this point, I wouldn't put it past Triple H to try and make both War Games matches last an hour and a half each, just so that he can say that less is more. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm confident that you're going to fall in love with his YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. And don't forget that we are going to be watching Survivor Series War Games 2024 together as a community, both on Twitch and here on YouTube. You can pick whichever platform you like more. And if you want even more daily wrestling content, don't forget the Patreon. We upload so much more content over there that never gets uploaded to YouTube. Just go give it a chance. Go check it out. There's some free videos for you as well. Link in the description, link in the pinned comment. Let's jump into the predictions. Let's start things off by talking about the WWE United States Championship match between the champion LA Knight defending against the newly returned scary spooky Star Wars Sith Lord Shinsuke Nakamura. Look, I think it's a fair statement when I say that out of all of the matches that are currently announced for Survivor Series War Games this year, this is probably the most rushed match out of all of them. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy that both Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight are getting a chance on a PLE. That's great. I'm happy that the United States Championship is also being defended on a PLE. That's great. All around, it's a win for everybody. That being said, I do wish that both Shinsuke and LA Knight had been given more time to properly develop a storyline and a proper feud between the two, because as it stands, at least as of the making of this video, Shinsuke Nakamura with this new character has been back in the WWE for less than 2 weeks, and he's only had 2 interactions with LA Knight, and both of those interactions are just Shinsuke attacking LA Knight post-match, and LA Knight hasn't had a chance to rebuttal. He hasn't had a chance to get his back. He hasn't had a chance to speak on the mic on Shinsuke Nakamura. And for LA Knight to properly develop his feuds, we need LA Knight on the mic, and we've yet to have that as of the making of this video. And I do think that overall that hurts the hype meter of this match. I weirdly feel like there is something at stake here, though. Even if it is a rush match, I feel a lot of pressure here because Shinsuke Nakamura cannot lose, while at the same time, I don't see LA Knight losing either. I don't see LA Knight losing because it just sort of feels like we're still at the beginning of his championship reign and there's still so much more to go, and he hasn't even had that second encounter with Logan Paul yet that we're all expecting. However, with Shinsuke Nakamura, brothers, if he loses here, it's over. This new spooky character that he's debuted is instantly dead on arrival. So I don't really want to see LA Knight lose the title, but I sure as shit do not want to see Shinsuke Nakamura be buried instantly once he was returned to the WWE with this new gimmick. This is actually starting to lead me to believe that one of 2 things is going to happen in this match. 1, a shock title change. Shinsuke Nakamura beats LA Knight clean. And that's not the worst thing either, to put LA Knight in the chasing position, trying to get that championship back. The other option that I think makes the most sense in this scenario is for Shinsuke Nakamura to still stand tall, but somehow get himself disqualified, either spitting some mist or maybe getting himself counted out while beating up LA Knight somewhere on the outside. In some way and in some form, Shinsuke Nakamura, for this new gimmick to not be dead on arrival, has to stand tall, either with a victory or standing tall on the carcass of LA Knight because of a disqualification finish. So here is my prediction. I don't think WWE's got the balls to give this title to Shinsuke Nakamura just yet, but I also don't think that they're gonna have LA Knight beat Shinsuke Nakamura, because I'm sure that they know, and Shinsuke knows, that if Shinsuke loses clean, if he gets pinned at Survivor Series, his fucking career with the WWE may as well just be over, because no one will ever take him seriously again. So because of that, I am saying LA Knight wins because Shinsuke Nakamura gets himself disqualified and Shinsuke stands tall once the smoke settles. In terms of what could happen after this match, I feel like this feud is going to continue. It's way too new for this to just be a one-off. This will likely have a second match, either at Saturday night's main event. Maybe SmackDown does New Year's Revolution again. Maybe it goes all the way through to the Royal Rumble, but this is just the beginning of this. Last thing I'll say on this is I do see a lot of people online kind of bothered by the fact that Shinsuke just instantly comes back and immediately gets a championship opportunity. Look, it works with the context of LA Knight because LA Knight has been a fighting champion, taking on anybody, anytime, any place. We've seen him defend the championship in back-to-back weeks against Berto and Santos Escobar. So this isn't out of character for LA Knight to accept this match. Anyways, let's just move on to the next match now. Let's stay in the mid-card. Let's talk about the WWE Intercontinental Championship triple threat match between the champion Braun Breaker defending against both Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. Unlike the Shinsuke and the LA Knight feud, they've been doing a pretty decent job at slowly building and massaging this feud over the last couple of months, technically. Hell, they even used WWE speed to help build hype for this feud as they had Sheamus and Braun Breaker brawl after their speed match. That's kind of wild to think about, that you now need to watch speed in order to fully be up to date with the canon of the WWE universe. That's kind of one of the symptoms of losing that entire hour of Monday Night Raw, that now they have to find some other places in order to build feuds, like WWE speed of all places. But obviously we know that both Braun Breaker and Sheamus have history with one another. Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser have history with one another. Ludwig Kaiser and Braun Breaker have history with one another. And all of these have been small pocket feuds that are now being interwoven together into a proper triple threat match at a PLE. It feels rushed only because the match was announced on the go home episode of Monday Night Raw, but I don't think that this feud is anywhere near as rushed as Shinsuke Nakamura versus LA Knight. Again, I can pinpoint to you moments where this feud has been developing between these three over the last several months. It just hasn't been this entirely continuous narrative thread that's been hit home every single episode of Monday Night Raw. Here's the thing. I'm taking Braun Breaker to retain the championship here, and I'm gonna give you an extra prediction here in that I think that Ludwig Kaiser is going to be taking the pin here. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a scenario where Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser continue to cost each other the victory and they just batter each other to the point that it opens up a window for Braun Breaker to spear one of them or maybe both of them into oblivion. The reason I'm saying that Braun Breaker is going to win and why I'm specifically calling for Kaiser to be the one to be pinned is because I think the end game here, the long tail, is Sheamus versus Braun Breaker with an eventual title change for Sheamus to become your Grand Slam champion. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens on the opening episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Sheamus becoming a Grand Slam champion has been a really important narrative in just overall WWE TV over the last several years. And to have that culminate on the first episode of Raw on Netflix kind of makes a lot of sense to me. So I'm calling Braun Breaker retains, and beyond that, the feud between Braun Breaker and Sheamus will continue to blossom, and I'm sure Ludwig Kaiser will still be a player in that feud as well. Now let's talk about the last traditional match on this card, that being the World Heavyweight Championship match between the champion Gunther defending against Damian Priest. They've really turned the Gunther character on its head for this feud, and I feel like they kind of needed to, so that it wasn't just another Gunther repeat feud that we've had over the last several months. Like he had the repeat feud against Randy Orton, the repeat feud against Sami Zayn, and now a repeat feud against Damian Priest. But at least this time around, they've changed the character dynamics for it to at least feel like a somewhat new storyline. And it is a brand new storyline when you really look at things. Sure, it's got the same guys that went to war at SummerSlam, but the context of things have changed dramatically here. Gunther, instead of being the ring general, is now the ring bitch, it seems. And now Damian Priest is the most confident version of himself that he's ever been. And we have a Gunther that is the polar opposite, just a guy that has no confidence whatsoever in himself. And you know what's funny? I almost feel like these repeat feuds are sort of to build the confidence of Gunther, to make sure that once Gunther comes out of all of these repeat feuds, he is the most dangerous, the most confident, the most cocky, the most braggadocious version of himself. Because especially if he were to beat Damian Priest in this match, he will now have 0 asterisks to his championship reign. First asterisk was Randy Orton, never properly pinning him at King of the Ring. He's done away with that. Second asterisk, Sami Zayn, the guy that pinned him earlier in the year. That's not an asterisk anymore. And then the third asterisk, the one that seems to be bothering Gunther the most, is that he didn't properly win the World Heavyweight Championship from Damian Priest clean because Finn Balor got involved. Once Gunther is able to get rid of all three of those asterisks, we are going to have the most dominant ring general as we build him up, likely to John Cena at some point in 2025. So I do appreciate their attempt at making me believe that Gunther is actually going to lose this because we have an incredibly powerful and dominant and confident Damian Priest and a little bitch boy Gunther. I'm still going with my little bitch boy. I don't care if he's shy little Gunther now. Gunther is going to win. He's going to retain. He'll be your world heavyweight champion deep into 2025.
There you go.
Oh my God.
You see what I mean?
That was a sneak peek of this week's Wrestling is Cool Match Club, which is exclusively available on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week, we're looking at the tag team classic that is DIY versus The Revival in a best 2 out of 3 falls at NXT TakeOver Toronto. We have a hardcore match between Shane McMahon and Steve Blackman at SummerSlam 2000. We've got real graps this week in the classic match between Bret Hart and Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. We have a ridiculous match between Sabu and Rob Van Dam in a ladder match. And we're looking at Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania 39. You're going to get this and so much more, like the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days early, the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, the currently ongoing Undertaker Streak watch along, the currently ongoing Royal Rumble watch along, and more. So if you're doing the math, I actually upload more on Patreon than I do on YouTube, and those are videos that will never appear on YouTube. So go check it out. It's patreon.com/SantiZap. I'm confident that if you even try for 1 month, that you're absolutely going to fall in love with it. There's hundreds of videos already up and available for you to enjoy day one. So go check it out. The link will be in the description. The link will likely also be in the pinned comment, but that's it, folks. Let's get back to the video. Let's talk about the Women's War Games match. And now I'm going to warn you, technically, as I list out the participants, there's a spoiler here. So I'm going to give you a warning because I'm going to talk about spoilers, all right? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ready? Okay. To be fair, it's not a huge spoiler. Like, it's the tiniest spoiler, and the only reason I know it is because I'm looking at the Wikipedia page and it seems to be properly announced on here, even though it hasn't been technically announced on WWE TV. Okay. Again, it's not a huge spoiler. The teams are Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and the spoiler being Bayley. Shocker. I don't think anyone was really shocked by that. Taking on the team of Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. I've been super critical of the buildup of this, and I'm not going to do that in this video. I've already done it over the last several weeks. You don't need me to rehash all of the problems with this feud. Here's the thing. The addition of Bayley here now gives us a easy get out of jail free card for the heels to win, because I've been saying that there is no way that the WWE is going to have the team that has your Money in the Bank winner, that has your Women's World Champion and WWE Women's Champion. They're not going to have them lose. That would make no sense whatsoever. That being said, you also have a group of incredibly over and protected baby faces in the likes of Rhea Ripley and, of course, Bianca Belair, who is just a monster at winning War Games matches. But the addition of Bayley gives us the parachute. It gives WWE a logical way for the baby faces to lose here, because the insertion of Bayley should, in theory, create divide between Bianca Belair, Io Sky, and Bayley, to the point that it could create miscommunication that could then drag Naomi, who is the one that vouched for Bayley, potentially leaving Rhea Ripley to have to fend for herself against what I presume is going to be a unified front of heels. So here are my predictions for this match. I'll do a couple of bonus predictions. We had the baby faces win the advantage, so I'm going to say that the last person to come in is going to be Bianca Belair. I also am predicting predicting that we get another Io trash can on the head spot as she jumps from the cage during this match. I also wouldn't be surprised if the MVP of this match in terms of overall work rate ends up being Candice LeRae. Like, just watch out for that one. But my prediction as to who I think is going to win, I think the heels win. Again, I've been so certain of this since day one. You just can't have the team that has all of those accolades lose together. It would just damage the prestige of those accolades in one fell swoop. Ding, 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 ding. We have another prediction, however, because I predict that when the heels are celebrating, that the Money in the Bank briefcase is going to get cashed in. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is the moment. Tiffany Stratton cashes in her Money in the Bank briefcase, and I think that she cashes in on Nia Jax. Look, between Nia Jax and Liv Morgan, Nia Jax has less things to do as champion right now. Liv Morgan still has that giant feud with Rhea Ripley looming over her head. You can't take the title off of her right now. But if you were to take the title off of Nia Jax, I think you're good, because she's not really feuding from ground zero for that championship with anybody right now, because she just defended against Naomi. And let's face it, WWE hasn't had a problem with having Nia Jax lose and take pins. She literally just lost in the advantage match against Bianca Belair. So Tiffany Stratton cashes in. We don't know who the cash-in is on. It turns into, I don't know, let's say a triple threat match between Tiffany and both champions, and Tiffany ends up pinning Nia Jax. That's what I'm predicting here. It's just such a unique opportunity for the WWE to do something brand new with the briefcase, and frankly, like, how can you not pull the trigger here? It just makes so much damn sense. And because of the lack of like really deep interwoven storyline that's making these teams go up against one another, this match is in serious danger of being forgotten fairly quickly. However, if a cash-in were to happen, if a really unique, wild cash-in happens in this match will actually be remembered forever, most likely. Now let's talk what I'm just going to assume is going to be the main event of the show, that being another War Games match between Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Sami Zayn, and the surprise fifth member, CM Punk, taking on the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. Oh, and Bronson Reed. I keep forgetting Bronson Reed's a part of this. So before I give you my prediction, I think it's important for you to understand that I don't think that this is the end of this feud. I think that there's still just so much meat left on the bone and so many questions still to be asked. Questions like, is CM Punk trustworthy? Is Paul Heyman back to help Roman Reigns? Why was he dressed like Solo Sikoa? Does the winner of this get the Ulafala? I don't think so. Where does The Rock play into all of this? There are still too many things up in the air for this to be the final match of Bloodline versus Bloodline. Frankly, I'm predicting that the next match after this feud is likely going to be the match for the Ulafala, Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa, likely at Saturday night's main event or the Royal Rumble. So I'm gonna try to really use logic when I make this prediction. Logical piece number one, I'm having a hard time picturing a team that's got CM Punk and Roman frickin' Reigns losing, okay? And piece of logic number two, I think that they're just sort of swapping victories up until the big reveal of The Rock returning to confront Roman Reigns, because we had the good guys win at Bad Blood, the bad guys win at Crown Jewel. I think the good guys are going to win here, and then the bad guys are going to win again, thus setting up what would be the end of this version of the Bloodline saga at WrestleMania 41 with the fifth match. And I think that that fifth match is going to be Roman Reigns versus The Rock. So I kind of already spoiled what my prediction is. I think that the baby faces win here. I'm going to take the team of CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and company to win this one, and I think that they're going to win it comfortably, and I don't think that there's going to be any shenanigans. I kind of learned my lesson from last year, because last year we were expecting Randy Orton to come back and that he was going to turn heel on Cody Rhodes and cause Team Cody Rhodes to lose, and the Judgment Day was going to pick up this victory because they desperately needed it, and it was just a cookie cutter baby faces win. And I think it's going to be the same case here, and I think that that's okay, because there's just so much still left to play out with over the next couple of months when it comes to the Bloodline saga. So I'm taking Team Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Jey, Jimmy, and Sami Zayn to win this match. You probably just shouldn't even try some crazy shock return here or debut like Hikuleo, because whatever they end up trying, it's just going to get compared to last year's return of CM Punk, and like, nothing's going to touch that. On top of that, they've got Saturday night's main event 2 weeks from now, and I just don't think that they want to burn all their ammo at the end of this match when they can use it over there. All right, folks, those are my predictions for Survivor Series War Games 2024. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Get out of here.